What's up, everybody in Periscope land? It's your girl Tonoa Bond. I am out and about. It is 2 for Tuesday, though. I'm trying to find a perfect spot to hold this camera. I just left a doctor's appointment, and so I couldn't get on at my normal time today. And I was gonna just wait until tomorrow. And then I said, well, no, because I said Tuesdays, and so I have to stick to my word. I have to stick to my promise. And I cannot find. Hey, MJG323. That is. Oh my God. Okay, y'all. If the phone falls, I am so sorry. You know, when you're out and you made a promise. I made a promise to be on here. Hey, Chip TV. I made a promise to be on here on Tuesday. So this is 2 for Tuesday, regardless of whether I just left the doctor's appointment or not. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And today we are talking about when you can't breathe. Can you breathe? That's the question. I gotta stay still. I'm burning up in this car, y'all. I pulled over. I said I was gonna do this. Hold on, let me see if I can lower a window or something, because it is hot up in here. Hey, Chip, thanks for joining. Oh, we dropping people, losing people today. When you can't breathe. Thank you for my hearts. Woo, woo, woo. You know I like hearts. I gotta move the camera because I'm also being vain. I want to show off my new little haircut. So I need for y'all to see my hard work that my barber did with my suggestions. But y'all see my lines? I think I'm starting to like short hair. Short hair don't care. What? Dope. Thank you. Yeah. You know, it's weird when you go from having hair to to having nothing back there. Anyway, today we're talking about when you can't breathe. And so I sat here really quickly and took some notes. I don't have my handy dandy dictionaries with me. Y'all know I like to do my dictionaries to do the definition. So I took some notes when I first pulled over. And so I thought this topic was very important. I was on a call yesterday, and you know, it's funny. Sometimes you feel like you have a support system, and then you don't do what the support system wants you to do, or you don't behave in the manner that people expect you to behave, and without any warning or word, you know, you start being treated differently. Yet somewhere along the way, you know, you still reach out and it doesn't work out quite the way that it's supposed to. And I hear this a lot from people, that they tap back into their old system of support and they didn't get the support that they needed, right? So it's almost akin to, and this is what I wrote down, you know, we reach out to people sometimes to serve as lifeguards. Like, how many times have you ever just needed somebody to be a lifeguard? And if y'all there, go ahead and share this. Like, go ahead, slide your screen, share on Twitter, post it on Facebook. You know, let's get some energy in here. I can only do a quick 30, and then I'll come back tonight because it's 2 for Tuesday. 2 for Tuesday. So I'll be back later this evening also, but I didn't want to let the afternoon go by and not keep my 2 for Tuesday word and just do a 1 for Tuesday. But you know, sometimes we expect people to be a lifeguard, and they didn't sign up for that, right? They're not obligated to you to be your lifeguard. But you know, sometimes when you're struggling in something in your life, you reach out and you're looking for somebody to tap in and give you a little, you know, and not everybody wants to do that. Like, sometimes people just cut you loose, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, there have been plenty of people, you know, in my life who probably needed me, and because they weren't living up to whatever expectations I expected of them at the time, and maybe I'm not even consciously aware of it, but you know, everybody does this. We kind of cut them loose, and we kind of like let them go, and they needed us, right? So I'm pretty sure we've either been somebody else's lifeguard or needed lifeguard, and somebody else has been our lifeguard or needed lifeguard, and it didn't always work out. But you know, we reach out to people and we're looking for them to be their lifeguard or their lifeline, and to blow a little breath, you know, because we can't breathe. You know, stuff in our life is falling apart. Stuff in their life is falling apart. They can't breathe. You know, if we're honest, we could look in the mirror and probably count 5 times this week where we felt like we couldn't breathe in some area, and we needed some type of assistance, whether it was dire or not. You know, but it comes up, and so we're looking for people to give us a breath and, bring us back to life. Because think about it, the definition of breath. The breath is the most important part of this thing, right? It keeps our organs alive. If we don't breathe enough, then we have carbon dioxide flowing through our systems, and that quickly kills our major organs. So we start to experience system failure and systematic death when we're not breathing, when we're not breathing properly. So imagine in our lives, like philosophically or metaphysically, when we're not breathing properly, there are things in our lives that start to die and to die off, because we're not getting the proper air circulating through our lungs. But here's the most important part of today's topic, and that is every now and then, hey, K&K, Keepers International's in the house. Every now and then, we come across that person who, we need them. We need some type of life coming from them. We need some type of life force. We need some type of CPR. We've deemed them our lifeguard, and we reach out, and they don't give us what we need, because they've already pronounced us dead. Thank you for inviting some followers. Whoop, whoop, love that. But, they've already pronounced us dead. And so, just a quick recap. We're talking about, when you can't breathe. And we're looking at that philosophically, we're looking at that metaphysically, and maybe even physically, because sometimes we have issues with our own breathing. And, the breath is the most important part of who we are. The breath signifies life. And so you go to somebody and you ask for some help, or you reach out because you need to touch something. I remember the movie Crash. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Crash. And there was one part of that movie, one line from that movie that I don't think I'll ever forget. And that is, and I used to sub. I used to go into schools and work my programs inside of schools, because I think that students need this more than even adults do. But I would tell the students, like that, or I would tell teachers about their students who would misbehave, and they'd go, oh, the behavior is horrible. And I would always say, sometimes when you're looking for something from somebody, you just when you want to touch, or when you need something that you're unable to ask for, you just crash into them for that touch. You crash into them, and that was the movie Crash. It says sometimes, we don't know how to ask, so we just crash into things and crash into people in hopes of getting something, that we desperately need. And so we go up to people and we kind of crash into them, and we don't always come right out and say, I need this or I need that. But we crash into people only to find out that they've already pronounced us dead. Time of death. Boop. The minute you do something that someone doesn't like, the minute you say something that someone doesn't like, the minute you don't live up to an expectation, the way someone wanted you to live up to said expectation, they have time of death. Time of death. Boop. And in doing this, I told y'all I pulled over because I knew I was going to have to, not have to, because it's not like I don't like doing this, but I knew I needed to honor my obligation for 2 for Tuesday and to come on. And so I sat down and jotted down some quick notes because I had a whole bunch of stuff ruminating in my head. And so I went online really quickly and started looking up some definitions, because y'all know I'm a definition girl. I like definitions. And so I was looking up something about doctors calling the time of death. And one thing that it said, when a doctor calls time of death, is to signify, this is deep, y'all ready? It's to signify when a patient is no longer owed any obligation for treatment. It is to signify when a patient is no longer owed, O-W-E-D, strong, decisive, and consistent. What's that? Time of death. Yeah. So when a patient is no longer owed any obligation, like any obligation for treatment, that doctor is saying, I am no longer obligated by the Hippocratic oath to treat you if I call time of death. If I pronounce you dead, then I can legally walk away. Legally. Not morally, not ethically, because there are a lot of moral and ethical issues that come up after time of death, when the family doesn't feel as if it was time, or when if they say the doctor didn't do everything. Did you do everything? If you didn't do everything, how could you have called time of death? You are strong, decisive, and consistent. Me? That's to me? Oh, because I pulled over and I said I was gonna do my scope today. I think, look at me, like inferring all type of stuff into what you just wrote. That's me. Yes, okay. I'm going to infer everything that's good. I'm going to take it all, take it all, take it all. Even if you didn't mean it. Even if you didn't mean it, I'll take it. But, hey, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Thanks for joining. I love that name. See what I'm saying? Yeah, so when a doctor calls time of death, a doctor is saying, I don't owe you nothing else, man. See what I'm saying? I don't owe you nothing. I don't have to do anything else because I call time of death. And when we reach out to people, and when we're trying to get somebody to be our lifeguard or to perform some CPR, when we have an issue in our life that needs some help, when we need some breathing room, when we need some space, when we need some, when we need something from someone and they don't want to offer it, they've already called time of death. They're already saying to you, I am no longer legally responsible for providing you with anything that you felt I owed you. When you need CPR, when it's gotten to that point where your life is tragic and chronic and you need them and they're not there, then that's what they're saying to you. They're saying that they're signifying to you that you are no longer owed from them any obligation for help, assistance, or treatment because they've already called it. Called it time of death, time, the day you said the thing you said. Time of death, the day you pissed me off. Time of death, the day you didn't do what I asked you to do for me. Time of death, the day I asked you to go pick up my dry cleaning and you said no. I mean, some of us call time of death for the shadiest reasons, right? Time of death. I mean, again, I said this earlier when I first started. We all do it. Y'all know I find anything to play with when I'm talking, to keep me focused on what I'm saying. But, we all do it. We all say, time of death, you didn't do what I needed you to do. I've done it. I've probably done it for the craziest reasons. Maybe I inferred something. Maybe I inferred that, you weren't really feeling the way you were feeling and you were lying and you were going to try to hurt me. And so I'm going to call time of death. So I don't have to, I'm not obligated to you anymore. I'm not obligated to do anything for you. I'm not obligated to say anything to you. And I could treat you shady because now I have a reason. So when you approach this said person and you say, well, what happened? What's up? And they go, oh, well, you're not really living up to your expectations. So I'm out. Time of death. What about if you give CPR and no one thinks to give you CPR? Absolutely. Like many of us are always providing CPR, right? We're always breathing for somebody else, giving for somebody else, giving to somebody else. And then the minute we run out of breath, see what I'm saying? And then the minute we run out of breath, they're just like, deuces, takers. Absolutely. Many of us we are inhabited by takers. I used to say this when I was born. I was a cocky beast at birth. But I used to say all the time that, oh, no. Because I hate asking for help. If I ask for your help, I really hate asking for help. And part of it is because I learned early growing up, especially within my own family, that you ask for help and then people take what they did for you. And then they have to go and tell the world, but they have to make you seem like the lowest form of scum of the earth in order to magnify themselves in a process and in order to tell the story of how they had to help you. So I've always hated it. Hate asking for help. But so I used to always say, oh, no. Or needing help, absolutely. So I used to always say, oh, no. I wasn't put here to accept help. I was just put here to give it. Cocky beast I am. I wasn't put here. It's a truck going by, y'all. I wasn't, a truck, a van or something. I wasn't put here to accept help or to need help. I was just put here to give it. You welcome. Who says that? This chick wearing a pearl that she playing with, and so, we find ourselves in a situation where somebody else has already pronounced us dead. Me, right? You said too. I wasn't put here to accept help. I was just put here to give it. I don't need your help. I'm gonna give you some, and then we get mad, right? Because at some point in our lives, we find ourselves, I can't breathe, and then we're looking at people right in the eye, right in the eyeballs, people who you've breathed for over and over and over again, begging, asking in the only way we know how, because we don't know how to verbally say I need help, but we're like, and they're like, I can't do nothing for you, man. Something is wrong with that picture, absolutely. And they're and here's the thing, takers. Y'all said it earlier, takers. So many people are used to taking that they don't realize that it's an exchange. You know, when you look at energy, you can tell when you look at somebody's life and their life has never changed. And this is not judgment. This is just energy. Their life has never changed. Their life has never gotten any better or maybe even any worse. It's just there. Life is just there. That is a person who has never learned the value of fair exchange. Because the universe demands fair exchange. The universe actually demands fair exchange. You know, you give to receive. I mean, your head, you receive to give. It's fair exchange. And so if I've never learned how to exchange, the cocky beast that I am, I don't need your help, I only give. I don't need you. I'm going to give you. Hey, Nightingale too. You know, I don't need your help. I'm going to give you my help because look how important I am, cocky beast. You know, but I don't need your help. That's not fair exchange. So then when I need it, when I do need it, and you either don't give it to me the way that I need you to, when you don't breathe for me the way that I need you to, I'm good. Talking about when you can't breathe, you know, when you can't breathe, when you're struggling for breath. Yeah, and folks wonder why you don't feel it. When you don't want to go out with people, and well, we invite you out all the time. Oh, because it's never fair exchange. I have to get something back that is of equal value, and not even get it back. Let me take that back. I don't even have to always get it back, but I have to demand for it to come back. I have to be expecting. We talked about last week. If you guys didn't see it last week, you can go to my catch channel, katch.me/Tonoa Bond. And you can see last week, or maybe it was the week before. And now I forgot what I was talking about. Just that fast. I done promoted myself on something else and just lost my train of thought. What are we talking about? Just listen for a minute. Thank you for inviting some followers. Just listen for a minute. I don't know what I was talking about. But anybody know what I was talking about? I hate when that happens. All right. So, yeah, don't laugh. Help me. Breathe for me. See what I'm saying? Breathe. Give me some breath. Old. Oh, we were talking about going out fellowshipping with people. I know you were talking about that. And they say you don't want to go out. And I say, okay, it's not fair. Oh, we were talking about demand. See, I had to play that all over again in my head. Here we go. I'm back. Before I lose it again, I was back. What'd I say? It's hoping without expectation. So the law of fair exchange states that you have to expect, right? You can't just sit back and go, I sure hope somebody breathes for me one day. You have to expect it. And expectation places a demand on something. Expectation is not a light thing. When you say, well, I expect my money back, reasonable expectation. Thank you, Chip. Woo! Chip TV just won something. I got to get you a gift. Reasonable expectation. That's right. Hoping without expectation is like no hope at all. You know, the word expectation, it sounds light. You know, it's like, well, I expect you to come. You know, when you say, well, I expect you to come to my play. I expect you to come to my Periscope. I expect you to come. People say it like that. I be listening. Yeah, woo, woo. Right? That love thing's not right. Like, they don't, you know, you gotta love yourself. And I don't know what you meant by that, but I'm going to take that word and run with it. You got to love yourself. And you got to place a demand on the energy. You have to demand something. Expectation says it's a quiet demand. It's still a demand. No matter how quiet the demand is, I still place the demand. Demand is a strong word. You know, demand is a strong word that most people won't use. Only cocky people do. Hey, Tina Moore Brown. What? But, you know, most people won't use the word demand. They won't do it. Because it's so, they don't want to be seen as, just so audacious. They don't want to be seen as rude or you know, they want to be meek and quiet. And demand says, it's a certain energy that comes with the word demand, right? Demand says, I'm coming for you. I better see you at my show. Y'all better log into my Periscope. I'm expecting you. Expectation has a demand. Right? So when someone says, hey, why don't you fellowship with us? Boom, right? Why don't you go out with us anymore? Why don't you hang out with us anymore? It's like, because when I couldn't breathe, where were you? When I asked for some breath, when I asked for some help. Hey, I'm Pastor Z. You know, when I asked for some help and I told you I couldn't breathe, you wouldn't breathe for me. You watched me struggle in my breath. But you always want me to breathe for you. And why? Because I set it up that way. Again, going back to me in childhood, my statement. You know, I wasn't placed here to need help. I was placed to give it. Cocky, right? And then we wonder why there's such an imbalance in our own power structure. And so, yeah, you can look at people. You can look at people's life. What's us is going to do? What is us is going to do? We got to get it better. We got to get right. That's why today's scope, I was going through something yesterday. And I saw myself in a conversation with someone recently. And it was me kind of reaching out to them saying, hey, I know I kind of disappeared for a little while. I got to get it together. Maybe we need to talk. And it was like, when you talk about like cold, like it not only was I standing in a sub-zero room with a door that had ice all over it, but when they slammed it, the ice chips like smacked me in the face. I was like, oh, like you felt it. Like it was almost like that energy was just like boom, cold. Like nothing for you, man. Nothing for you. I have nothing for you. And it was like, oh wow, okay. I get that though. I get that. Am I mad at that person? No, do you all day long. Because again, many of us have done it. We've done it to somebody at some point in our lives, somewhere, sometime, Oh, thank you. See what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to come back too, because I just like saying your name. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? I like saying your name. Thank you. So let's go back to like when you can't breathe, right? CPR. Thank y'all for the hearts. I love hearts. I'm a heart monster. Woo woo. And I'm also sitting in a car in Houston, Texas, with the windows at half mast, sweating. I'm hot. Hold on. It is hot out here. So again, for y'all who missed it earlier, I was talking about this, and I'm gonna go back to this and segue into something else. Sometimes when you go to somebody and you need some help, you need a breath, you need CPR, and they don't want to breathe for you, it's because they have already called time of death. When you look at the medical community and when doctors have called time of death, they've called time of death. Texas is warm. It ain't warm. It's hot. But when they call time of death, sorry, I'm trying to give myself some air. When they call time of death, this is why I got off the internet. I love that thing, internet. It says when the doctor calls time of death, it is to signify when a patient is no longer owed any obligation for treatment. I'm going to let that sit for a minute on a metaphysical level. I can't let it sit for a minute. I talk too much. So, when a person is no longer owed, right, any obligation, those words, owed, I owe you, right? When you're no longer owed any obligation for treatment, think of the people in your life that have cut you off. You needed them and they weren't there for you. That's what they're saying to you. Isn't that crazy? They're saying to you, you know what? I've called time of death. At some point in our relationship, you didn't do what I needed you to do. You didn't say what I needed you to say. You didn't be how I needed you to be. You didn't have what I needed you to have. And so I divorced myself from you. I called time of death. I called time of death on that thing. Time of death. When you cursed me out. Time of death. When you failed to answer the phone. Sometimes it's for the smallest things. Time of death. When you weren't there for me. So I no longer owe you any obligation for treatment. I am no longer obligated to whatever debt I felt I owed you, or whatever promise I made to you in the beginning. I am no longer obligated to fulfill it. I am no longer obligated to give you anything. Time of death. And so legally, the doctor can walk away. But ethically and morally become an issue when people, like when family members or other doctors start looking at the treatment plan and they start thinking to themselves, you may have been a little too quick on that one. Like, did you try to do everything? Did you perform CPR? Most time not. Did you give them something in the IV? Did you, so folks think I'm wrong when I walk away. Yeah, people do it also, but here's the thing. We walk away. I walk away. There are so many, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, if we start going back to all my ex-boyfriends or ex-fiancés, no wonder people don't perform CPR for me, because those were some wrong times. I can honestly say I probably walked away for some of the weirdest reasons. But it's like, I did not see myself linked up to you for the rest of my life. So time of death. This is over. OVA. And of course people think you're wrong. I still have, I'm friends still, or friendly still with a lot of my exes. And like when that comes up, they usually say, yeah, Tonoa, you're a little, like that frozen door I was just talking about a little while ago. Just came back to me. But yeah, so could the doctor have done something else? So it becomes an ethical issue and a moral issue. You know, we have people that we feel are obligated to us, and we feel they're obligated because of ethical reasons or moral reasons. You know, maybe they're family, or maybe there's someone who professed their love to us in a way that they said that they will forever be there, and then they weren't there for us, and so we want to hold them accountable. You know, we want to hold them accountable to something that maybe we ourselves would have done the same thing, or we have a history with that person and we want to hold them accountable because of history. You know, there are many reasons why we may do or say the things that we do or say, you know, and other people, they don't like it. They don't want time of death call. They want CPR. You know, they can't breathe. They need you to be their lifeguard, which lifeguarding happens to be one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, because a struggling person trying to survive, the number one rule of life kicks in. The number one law, the number one spiritual law kicks in. Self-preservation. Your body is doing everything possible to stay alive. Everything possible to stay alive. And here comes this lifeguard to jump in and save the day. So he has to fight your body. He has to fight all the parts of you that are fighting him. So that's the most dangerous part. And so maybe, I'm about to sneeze, y'all. I apologize in advance. Excuse me. Woo! Okay. But, you know, maybe you go up to somebody for CPR and they see it as dangerous, and maybe they're not skilled for it, you know, but instead of just like walking away, I'm pretty sure there's something else they could have done, you know, or maybe there's something else we could have done. But then in that moment, we're placing so many eggs in their basket. We want them to heal us. We want them to fix us. We want them to love us. We want them to do something for us, to show us that breathing is the natural thing to do. Something else that I read, it said that dying is a process, right? So a lot of times, you know, we go up to somebody for help and they've already called time of death because they use that one issue. Don't know how always on the taking. I don't know what that means. See what I'm saying? Help me figure that one out. Don't know how always. Maybe I said something before I sneezed, because you know when you sneeze, I don't know where them thoughts went. But dying is a process. It's not instantaneous, but we are forever willing to instantaneously cut somebody off. They say something we don't like and it's instantaneous. There was no process, or maybe there was. Maybe somewhere along the way, no, they don't know how. Now I gotta let my windows up. There's birds flying around here. If one fly in this car, y'all gonna see a whole new side of me. Now I'm gonna burn up. What was I saying? LOL. Anyway, so I think I was saying something like dying is a process, right? It's not instantaneous. See, I got to keep them thoughts going, because sometimes stuff come out and I don't know what I'm about to say. I don't know when it came up. I don't know what I meant. Oh, that's what it was. So it's not instantaneous. And so we often have people in our lives that we instantaneously cut off, and we think that it was instant. We go, I don't know what I did. I don't know why she wouldn't give me any breath. I don't know why I asked for help and she treated me like that. And somewhere in their life, maybe it was a process. Maybe they were building up a case against you, but they just never let you know. And then when they couldn't take it anymore, they just walked away. And so here we are left, not only struggling in that moment to breathe, not only looking for some lifeline to hold on to, but we're also now confused. So it's like, I can't breathe, you know, I'm struggling. And now the one person who that was a horrible face that it had me frozen on. I didn't like that. That's not right. Okay, I let my windows back down because this is Texas, y'all. And I started saying y'all. I'm from Chicago, y'all. So yeah, so sometimes we have people who no longer see any value in us, and they no longer feel that they owe us an obligation. Or there are people in our lives who, you know, we want to make sure they know that, you know, whatever it was you did or said or didn't become, I'm going to cut you off for my own good. Because as your lifeguard, I'm not strong enough to handle that wave. I'm not strong enough to fight your battles with you. Yeah, takers and users, right? And we all simultaneously are one or the other. A taker and a user is the same energy. We get a coin. Y'all know I love this one. If y'all saw this, and if y'all have seen me do this a million times, and hang in there for 1,000,001. I want a quarter. So, you know, takers, heads, users, tails. Can't see them both at the same time. That's because it's the same energy, right? A taker and a user is the exact same energy. You just decide which one you're going to be more of in that moment. You can't even see that, can you? That's a head. Okay. Anyway, that's heads. So you can't see them both, so you can't be them both. With a certain person in your life, you can't be a taker and a user at the same time. However, spiritual law demands expectation. It demands that you give and receive. It demands that in order for you to give, that you have to receive. So at some point you're going to be a taker, but then at some point you're going to be a user. I mean, a giver. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all, hold on a minute. I'm saying the same word. Hey, Gloria M. Numbers. I just said, I meant takers and givers. I said takers and users. Those are the same people. So ignore everything I said. Change the words. Either replace taker or user for giver. And we're going to start over. So a taker and a giver is the exact same energy. You can't be both at the same time, right? So you have to decide if you're going to give or if you're going to receive. You know, if you're going to take or if you're going to give. You can't do both. You have to decide which one, because it's the exact same energy. Because it's opposite. The law of polarity states that all opposites share the exact same energetic state. The same pole. This is a pole. But this is the energetic pole for that particular opposite. So it's the same energy that pulls on either side. When it's here, it's just neutral. I'm just here today. But the minute I make a choice to be one or the other, I take all the energy out of the other one and I immediately flip it to the one I want to use. That's why they share the same, it's the same level of feeling. Even though sometimes when things are negative, it just feels worse. It's like, oh my God, that felt so horrible. But believe it or not, it's the same exact feeling and magnitude and hertz and number and all those scientific things that I'm about to mess myself up because I don't know. But it's the exact same number from the opposite, from its opposite. You just flip it, right? So we all have moments where we're either a giver or a taker. You know, we all have those moments. So at some point in our lives, we all have moments where we're either breathing for someone or needing someone to breathe for us. And many of us, I know myself, and I think see what I'm saying is the same, you know, where we have to learn now how to receive. You know, and I had to train myself over the years how to receive. And I'm telling you, I had a black hole experience about 4.5 years ago. Right. And you know what they say, a black hole in space, that big thing, the black void that just sucks stuff in. And the closer you get to it, the louder it becomes. Like, you don't notice it. Like, your life is fine. You don't realize you're swirling around the black hole because everything's just fine. Things are falling apart little by little. But, you know, it's like, I got this. I can handle this. I'm not going to reach out for help. I don't need any help. I got it. I got it. I'm good. You know, I'll still give help. You know, chips back. I'll still give my help because, you know, that's what I was born to do. Cocky beast. I'm going to give my help, you know, but I don't need to receive any yet. I'm okay. So here I am still swirling around the black hole, still swirling around the black hole, still swirling around the black hole. And then they say, science says, the closer you get to a black hole, the louder it becomes, the sound becomes deafening. And you can tell that too, because in your life, how many of you guys have ever had a black hole experience, right? Where your life just falls apart and you're looking like, where'd it go? Like it's gone. But, you know, the closer you get to it, the louder it becomes, and your life just like falls apart. It's over. It's done, right? And you're just like, ah! But then the closer you get to it, the energy becomes so strong, the force becomes so strong that you can't pull it back. Like you struggle with the whole pulling it back part. And so you start fighting a fight that is almost unwinnable. Don't think that's a word. We're going to go for it. Alex. All right. You know, you start fighting a fight that it's already over. And then you start asking for help and you can't breathe. Like you can't breathe for real. But you don't have people in your life that are going to give you what you need because they ain't believe in you anyway. Like you're an entrepreneur. Yeah, see, your life wouldn't be like that if you just go get a job. Go get you a job, girl. Go get you a job. See, your life wouldn't be like that if you had a man. Go get you a man, girl. Go get you a man. See, your life wouldn't be like that if you paid your child support. Go pay your child support due. Go pay your child support. You know, like all these stereotypical things that people say in the moment, when they don't want to breathe for you, when they just want you to feel like you could have had it better. And they are absolutely right. But in that moment, I need to hear that, absolutely. But I also need something. And even if you don't want to breathe for me, do you know anybody that can? Do you know anybody that will? Do you know anybody that could? Can you refer me to somebody? Because only giving me a lecture when I can't breathe, when the black hole is sucking me in, is not going to help me. I'm going to be sucked in. And you know what they say about a black hole? Like, once you go in, yeah, can I get some compassion? You know, I don't need your pity. I've never, ooh, that's one way to rub me the wrong way. To tell me you pity me. Those are fighting words. You don't pity anything, and you never accept pity. Pity is the lowest form of energy. Really, is you snubbing your nose saying, I'm better than you, I'll always be better than you, you'll never be worth anything. So I don't need your pity, but compassion. I want your compassion. I want your understanding, because within compassion comes those systems that start thinking of ways to help a person out. Because when you're compassionate about something, that's when you see yourself in that situation, and you see all the things that you would have either wanted done, or all the things that you had to do in the past. You come up with solutions. You may not be the answer, but you can have a solution. You know, my family laughs because I make up words all. That's one way to rub me the wrong way. Pity. Woo. No. So yeah, I know I said I was gonna keep this short because it's hot out here. I gotta get this car moving before this shirt melts to me. And then my arms, see, I got like mesh on my arms, so my shoulders are cool. My shoulders are like, oh, we good. But my back sitting on this seat, and then in 86-degree weather, my back is like, child, do you not know that it's 86 degrees outside? You sitting in a hot car with the windows halfway down because you scared a bug, a bird, or something else is gonna fly in here and get you. Because, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story before I go. And I am gonna give y'all one more philosophical thing about CPR and can you breathe before I go. My last nugget, but I have to tell y'all a story. So today, I'm in the house and I decide like I'm gonna fix me something to eat really quickly. And yeah, I'm standing there. I take my little bacon out the microwave and I'm eating some rice. Oh, thank you for my heart. I'll take that one, a lonely heart. So I'm standing there, right, and I'm eating my little bacon and my rice, and I'm trying to hurry up because I gotta go. And all of a sudden I hear this boom, boom, boom. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It was like something was like hitting the ceiling. So I'm looking around like, what in the world? And I turn my head to the left and look up. It was a wasp about that big. And self-preservation said, girl, get out of here. So I get ready to run out. But the glutton in me said, don't leave your bacon. So I'm running from a wasp. I grabbed my food and ran. Went into another room, locked myself in the room. Ate my food, sitting there looking around like how I'm gonna leave the house with the wasp in the house. Like the wasp is like stalking me or something. Now I'm scared. I'm like scared of a wasp. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Or as well, see what I'm saying? Just saying, what is us gonna do? Like, how am I gonna get out of here? So I finally left. But the funniest parts of that was I grabbed my food. Like self-preservation was like, get out of here. I was like, okay, I gotta get my plate. Gree-tay. Not even greedy, gree-tay. All right. So, so anyway, yeah, so my last little philosophical statement before tonight, if you guys are just joining me on Tuesdays, if this is your first time on Tuesdays, I always do 2 for Tuesday. So I'll be back tonight. I do 2 times on Tuesdays. Same message, but from a different perspective. And then I offer tools and tips on how to get ourselves out of a situation or how to help us get through something. So today to be learning how to breathe through the black hole experiences of our lives when our life is falling apart. And that's going to be tonight at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, and 7 Pacific. Yeah. So anyway, so when you're surrounded by people, you know, in your life, or when people are surrounded by the yous of the world in their life, you know, at some point we get to a point where we are in disbelief of the person ever pulling through. Like we have disconnected ourselves from the belief that they can redeem themselves. We have disconnected, or that person has disconnected themselves from the belief that you can be or do or have any better or do the things that they need you to do. And so that's when they call time of death. That's when they feel that they are no longer obligated, or when they no longer owe you anything to get you back to whatever state you need to get to. And so we have to remember that in those times we have to have a belief in ourselves, Because here's the great thing about breath. Can you breathe? Can you breathe? We can always breathe. Until the body takes its last one, the body will do everything it needs to do. That system in our body that is geared to keeping us breathing, you know, the homeostatic process for breathing kicks in, and it forces the body to do what it needs to do to keep us alive, right? And so even when we reach out for help, we have to always realize that that moral, ethical being. Hey, Mize is hi, I can't say your name, I'm sorry. But you know, that person, even when that person is no longer able to do anything for us, that we have a system on the inside of us that is geared toward keeping us alive. So as long as we keep our heads, you know, as long as we don't give in too much to the negativity of what they will and won't do for us, then we'll be okay. So can you breathe? Absolutely you can. You know, you want some tips for learning how to breathe through the process, breathe through the situation, breathe through the life event that's trying to take over, then come back and join me tonight on 2 for Tuesdays here on Periscope. My name is Tonoa Bond. It has been my pleasure talking to y'all today. I will be back tonight. I'm gonna get out this hot car. Hey, Embraceably Me, I'm about to log off. You guys, make sure you go listen to the replay. Today was good. And make sure you come back tonight for the second part, for part 2. I'll be back tonight, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I learn my times. I usually struggle with that. And you know, and in the meantime, think to yourself, start asking yourself some questions about, you know, when have you called time of death on yourself or somebody else? Or when has somebody called time of death on you and you felt it wasn't valid, and then you maybe go back through the tape, and then you kind of see maybe what you did or where you were wrong, or you see where they were wrong. And you know, and then tonight when we talk about those tips on how to pull yourself back through, you know, you'll have some clarity and some closure. So again, I'm about to get out this hard car. Thanks y'all for joining me. Thanks for coming to my scope. Bye y'all. Can you breathe? Of course you can. Of course you can. Can I breathe? Yes I can. Because I wasn't put here on this earth to receive. I was just put here to give. Tragic. See y'all later.